The sun was setting over the lush, wooded hills of Springfield, Oregon, but inside the Kinkel household, the light was fading in a much more literal sense. On May 20, 1998, a 15-year-old boy named Kip stood in the kitchen, his mind a fractured landscape of voices and perceived failures. He had just been expelled from school for possession of a stolen firearm, a disgrace he felt his father could never forgive. As Bill Kinkel sat at the kitchen table, perhaps contemplating his son's uncertain future, Kip approached from behind. In a moment that would shatter the peace of this suburban sanctuary forever, he pulled the trigger, ending his father's life and beginning a night of surreal, operatic horror. Remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes of the Calendar of Crime. Kip didn't flee the scene. Instead, he waited. He dragged his father's body into the master bedroom and covered it with a sheet, a ritualistic attempt to hide the reality of what he had done. Hours later, his mother, Faith, arrived home from her job as a beloved local teacher. Kip met her in the garage, offering to help with her bags before leading her upstairs. There, in the transition between the garage and the living space, he fired again. Faith Kinkel fell, joining her husband in death at the hands of the son they had spent years trying to help. The silence that followed was not empty. It was soon filled by the soaring, tragic notes of Wagner's Liebestod, playing on a continuous loop from the family's sound system. The music, a dramatic aria about love and death, echoed through the halls as Kip spent the night in the house with his parents' bodies. He moved through the rooms like a ghost, writing a rambling, desperate note that confessed his love for them, even as he labeled himself a horrible son. The contrast was jarring. The sophisticated beauty of the opera, clashing with the grisly scene in the bedrooms. Kip wasn't just hiding. He was stewing in a cocktail of clinical depression and emerging schizophrenia, hearing voices that told him he had no choice. This wasn't a crime of passion in the traditional sense, but a total collapse of a young mind under the weight of its own delusions. As dawn broke on May 21st, the operatic vigil ended, but the nightmare was only expanding. Kip dressed in a trench coat, concealing several weapons and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. He drove his mother's Ford Explorer to Thurston High School, the very place that had expelled him only 24 hours earlier. His parents lay still in their home, the music still playing, as their son walked into the school cafeteria and opened fire. The double parricide was the prologue to a mass shooting that would leave 2 students dead and 25 others wounded, forever cementing May 20th and 21st as a dark anniversary in the annals of American school violence. Today, the Kinkel house stands as a quiet reminder of the day the music didn't stop. Kip Kinkel remains incarcerated, serving a 111-year sentence without the possibility of parole, a figure of intense psychological study and debate. His case remains a haunting example of how untreated mental illness and access to firearms can create a perfect storm of tragedy. As we look back on this date in the calendar of crime, we are reminded of the fragility of the human mind and the devastating ripple effects of a single afternoon's choices. Thanks for watching. Please comment, share, like, and subscribe for future episodes from the Calendar of Crime.